Now, the next 20k bounty hunt will be happening sooner than you think. Michelle Orp and Trevor Harris will be here live in the studio as they bring you coverage of all the action. It'll kick off at 9 as players look to take out as many people as possible, of course. So make sure you book the sofa and join Michelle and Trev for all the damage and carnage and heads rolling.
Good. Are you done?
What's next?
Next, it's time for the really big game on Sky Poker. It is, of course, the continuing Russian Roulette Championship between the two of us. We're at 2 each, I think.
2-2.
2-2.
Was it Oxblower that won the $3,000 or something? Ox Bowler. That's good money. What are we playing for? 7-3. I've had some rubbish hands.
Yeah, but you also had the pocket tens. What are you talking about? Oh. Here it comes. Woohoo! Winner! That's good. That's good for me. Doyle Brunson. Doyle Brunson won 2 World Series of Poker main events with a 10-2. It's good enough.
Yeah, but that doesn't really tell the story, does it?
What story?
He wasn't calling like a massive all-in, was he?
See, some people would be scared to play 10-2 the way I did there, but if you can add that sort of move to your game, you will get better.
3-2. Well done. I've got to sort that side of my face out on my avatar. Sorry, it's that side, isn't it?
Why are you touching yourself on
The Sky
television?
Poker team have all some brand new interviews done. That wasn't the correct English. Just rearrange those words and make a sentence out of it. To give the newer viewers an introduction to whoever you want. They're actually made for the Open, but I grabbed Matt's before it went out.
I felt it.
It's only right that we should premiere it here on The Club.
I've been playing poker for about 11 years, seriously about the last 4. It was a total accident. When I first got internet connection at home, it was the first thing that sprung up on my screen. It said, "Do you want to play poker?" I went, "Yeah, all right then." And then I got totally hooked. My proudest poker moment is probably actually the fact that I've never had to reload. From when I first put my money in a long while back, I've never been someone that went busto and broke. I've always managed my bankroll. So, though that's not one moment, it's a very long moment. I try not to have a favourite hand, but pocket eights, for some reason, has become my hand. As soon as I see pocket eights, they may as well be aces. I'm just going all in. Honestly, as soon as I see pocket eights, I go, and here's the hand I lose the tournament on. The poker pro I admire the most, probably, well, actually 2. Neil Channing is somebody I have an enormous amount of respect for, but probably one of the kind of superstar ones is Daniel Negreanu, who I just love his table presence and his attitude to the game. He has a lot of fun with it, he's very chatty, and that sort of suits my style, because I hate sitting with dark glasses and iPods. I'd much rather chat up the table and get little bits of information, and that's something he does so well. My favourite personal poker story is one that makes me look like an idiot, where I was in Vegas and I had a situation where we got down to the last 4 of a 70-person tournament and they wanted to offer me a deal, but I had my eyes on the big prize and I was second in chips and I refused the chop, and then I bust out the next hand and walked away with absolutely nothing. I learnt a lot from that. It was a very painful process and it took me many years to recover. If I could play heads up with anyone, the boring answer is probably my granddad, because he was a bit of a wheeler-dealer in his day and I never really knew him as an adult. The celebrity answer is William Shatner. The things that I like the most about Sky Poker is the community, really. It's the fact that it's not just faceless. There are all the opportunities to actually get together with the players and all these meetings and the live events. And I think, again, for me, because I value the fun side of poker, that's such an important part of what the channel does.
Good time. Dan!
What's that? No. No, I think those were very honest answers.
What does Penguin say? He is so good. He is so funny. He's so quick, isn't he? Just always got something to say.
Have you forgotten? We did those quite a while ago.
That was a long while ago. I totally forgot about that. It made me surprised to see my responses.
Talk through the William Shatner.
Why not? Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you want to? There'd probably be a fight and his shirt would get ripped and then he'd do that thing where he goes on your back and you go, oh, and then he'll go, chop, and you go, oh. Yeah. I don't know. There's just bound to be a really awful fight breakout.
Right. Shatner's a fighter, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, man.
Libelous, dude.
Woo! Bring him on.
Now, coming up this weekend is the next leg of the Sky Poker Tour. We've already made 3 winners. Chile won, took it down in Nottingham. Room 1009 was the kingpin at Birmingham. Edinburgh saw Baby Boy 08 claim the #1 spots and a seat in the final on the 13th and 14th of June.
We always send members of the Sky Poker team along to play in these events, and one of the guys heading up this week is Sky Poker Tour debutante, Trevor Harris. Trevor Harris!
How are you, chaps?
They are. I knew that would work. That's how you summon. If ever you need to speak to Trevor, just summon him by calling his name into the sky.
Listen, Matt, I'm very disappointed. You mentioned your favourite players, Channing, Negreanu. What? No Harris in there. I'm very upset.
Do you know what? They said it could only be the top 2. Otherwise, you would have been straight in there.
I appreciate the sentiment,
But
mate.
you know what, Trev? When asked the question, who's your favourite Sky Poker expert, Matt said, well, it's actually TK, but Harris is number 2. So
You're like the bubble boy in my list. Just the way it goes.
I'm used to that.
So how are you, sir?
I'm very, very well, and I'm greatly looking forward to going up to Newcastle at the weekend. I'm sure you'll get to know Matt, because I know you're about to. In fact, both of you are going to play the presenter, aren't you, in the future? But
Yep.
You tend to get the same people playing almost on a nightly basis, and we've had so many battles. Myself and a couple of guys in particular, Dave E.Z., who is well known to anyone who watches the Open. He's a regular presenter player, so I'm hoping he'll be up there. The other guy that I know will be there is the guy that plays under Tallboy. We have a mutual interest in sports betting and football and other things as well as poker. So we're going to have a beer and a chat, and it'll be terrific if I actually get on the same table as either of those esteemed gentlemen.
Oh.
Trev, I actually played my first Play the Presenter the other night and was chatting to Tallboy as well.
Yes, he's always there. How did it go, Dan, by the way?
Took money off of him.
Very good.
Took money off everyone, actually, Trev. I did very well.
I can't say I'm surprised, Dan.
Beginner's luck, I think. So what have you heard about these tour events? I know it's focused very much on the community, but what about the standard of poker?
Well, I think talking to TK about it, and I think he's gone on record, hasn't he, as saying that the standard is excellent. I think we've seen over the 2 years or so since Sky Poker was formed, we started doing the Open. There were some very new players, a lot of beginners, a lot of very inexperienced poker players on there, and it showed. And I think what's become evident is that if you badger people night after night, as we all do, every analyst on there, people's poker habits change, and it doesn't take very long. I think even after a couple of months we were seeing it change, and after a couple of years, as we are now, it's going to be very, very competitive in Newcastle at the weekend. It'll be a tough tournament to final table in, I reckon.
And any predictions? How are you feeling? You know, how's your form at the moment?
Well, it's not too bad. I mean, I tell you the problem I have, Matt, is that I'm predominantly a short-handed cash player. And actually, playing on the Play the Presenter nights, where we play on tables of 10, and that's purely because we want to give as many people as possible the chance to play with it. That's why we do the 10 rather than the 6. But doing that has actually helped me a little bit, because when you play short-handed cash as much as I do, you get into certain habits, and when you then revert to playing tables of 10, it's a completely different game.
Yep.
So having now got into that rhythm, I'm a lot more confident than I would have been maybe 2 or 3 months ago. But yeah, obviously you're all hoping for a big finish. I think the one thing that every analyst, whether they admit it or not, the one thing they don't, well, there's 2 things they don't want to do. One is just to blind off their chips, because that's a no-no. And the second is to be caught making a really embarrassingly bad play that everyone's going to remind you about it forever and a day.
Yeah, and let's not forget the third thing is to be outlasted by Michelle Orp. That's the other thing that haunts everyone.
I don't know how Michelle's got on, but I know that Norman did very well. He's going to be up there again on Saturday. And Norman, I think, final table.
Final table, yeah. So it set the bar quite high there for you, fella. You got your work cut out.
But Trev, we've rubbed your little avatar's head here in the studio to give you a little bit of luck. So I think you're going to be fine.
Now I've heard that, it's absolutely perfect. I'm confident of winning the thing.
Despite the fact that you may or may not do particularly well, enjoy it. That's the main thing, isn't it?
I entirely agree with what you were saying earlier, Matt, that, you know, poker is a game of enjoyment. If you're not a professional and it's your living, I don't think too many of those guys necessarily enjoy it. But when you play it as a social exercise, it's the same thing as going to the pictures or to a restaurant. It's a form of entertainment. You've got to enjoy it, otherwise don't play.
Well, absolutely right. I hope you do, mate. Say hello to everyone you see out there, because we never get invited to these things. But who knows? Maybe one day. And we will catch up with you, I'm sure, after the event, and you can tell us why you didn't do as well as no doubt you won't.